ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Black Friday. And here we are, down to the second to last full week of the season. And one more week after that, during Memorial Day week, is Black Friday Wild Card. And I will explain Wild Card Week again to those that might have forgotten or those who are new to that type of educational form. So before we go into this week, we're going to reverse the last week as we normally do. And what was last week? The U.S. state of Arizona. And the U.S. state of Arizona was also a clue for this week as well. For last week, I explained how Mr. Johnson, our principal, has a connection to the U.S. state of Arizona and went to University of Arizona. And he was also rooting for Arizona in the NCAA tournament. Fortunately, they didn't make it all the way. There's always better luck next year. Back to this week, you had to once again visit the American West. And you had to list 13 of the states that make up the American West. And before I go further, there were some, I wouldn't say discrepancies, there were some differences in what you would find for the states that make up the American West. A couple of lists had Alaska, some had Colorado. If you had Alaska, Colorado, for this particular week, for this particular purpose, didn't matter. Neither one was the answer. But I gave you the number because I tried to keep everybody on the same page. I've noticed if I don't list a certain number or if I just keep it plain, there tends to be more of a confusion of what you should have and what you shouldn't. So I try to help you by keeping it simple. And as you can see, there's different types of information all over the internet that gives you discrepancies from one list to another. So sometimes you have to go with your gut. Sometimes you have to go with what you know. And it has paid off for some that has added an extra state or country. I mean, that was never really, that I could think of, became the answer. But sometimes adding an extra state or country would, open up a door for more information on that particular location. So that's why I try to give you a specific number of what you need. With the different information on the internet, that's hard, that becomes challenging for you and me. So I'll try to see if I can do better with that so you don't get confused or frustrated because you don't have the exact same number as I have. So we'll work on that tidbit for Black Friday. Continuing on, you had to go with the American West. You had to list the states that make up the American West. And then one of your first clues was to eliminate the one state that was the Black Friday answer last week. And I just said it in the opening, Arizona. So you had to eliminate Arizona off the top. Then you had a few more clues Tuesday and then Wednesday. And one of the clues out of those 2 days was the movie Training Day. Where was this filmed? California. So you had to eliminate that one. One of the states that gave women the right to vote, or one of the first rights to vote, Wyoming. You probably noticed Wyoming was eliminated twice. So that ended up with some of you having 5, some of you having 4. It all depended on how many you had on the list to begin with. But either way, Your answer was not eliminated throughout the entire week. So we go to yesterday. You had two clues. One was the answer, and one was an elimination. The one you had to eliminate, what was the date? I believe it was July 16th, 1945. The day we entered the atomic age. Testing of the nuclear bomb in New Mexico. So New Mexico had to be eliminated off the list. Then he was giving another date that would give you the answer. July 11th, 1951. This one seemed to have given some people some issues because of you put in the date, it gives you a whole bunch of other events that happened on that day, but nothing about a particular state. So you had to dig a little bit. And some of you did, and you came up with the correct answer. Congratulations. So you had to do a little research, not like last week or a couple weeks ago, where you had to look up the 30 Years' War to find Sweden for the answer. So this week, not as difficult, I think, but either way, it was challenging in some areas. Now, when we get to next week, the final full week for the season, that's going to require you probably a lot of you working together and really looking up and researching certain answers to clues you will be given. But that's for next week. You'll find out when next week comes. Don't want to overhype that. We're not there yet. So when you had to come up with the answer for today, which date did you come up with? Some ended with 4, some had 5 left at the beginning of yesterday. You eliminated one, and you had to pick one out of the last 3 or 4, whatever you had. Which date did you have? I'm going to sneak behind and grab the flag, and I will reveal the answer to you in just a few seconds. I'm back. So, which date did you come up with for the answer? July 11th, 1951. This date was in a lot of fiction movies, a lot of science fiction movies growing up, and a lot of, UFO sightings were tied to this date. I'm talking about secret planes or secret training, training sites, or more so secret operation going on here in this particular part of the state. Did that help you at all? Probably not. So we will reveal the answer in 3, 2, 1. We are looking at state of Nevada. The state of Nevada is your answer for today. As you can see, very simple flag, blue background, Battleborn, star in the middle with the state named underneath the star. Now, I've done a lot of reorganizing, and I seem to have misplaced my flag book, so I'm unable to really give you what everything on this flag means. But once I find it, I'll try my best to make sure you find out what this is if you don't find out before I do. Nevada is your answer for today. Now, I particularly have no personal connection to the state, but I have been to Las Vegas twice in March, not in the middle of summer, where it's like 100 plus. It's pretty warm in Las Vegas in March, but not unbearable. And it is true when you go out west, and at least at certain locations that I am aware of, it's more heat and less humidity. But which is worse? More heat, less humidity, or more heat, more humidity? Personal preference. For me, if I had to choose, more heat, less humidity. There you go. Even though I don't have a personal connection to the state, my little sister does. Former Marine, and her friend, who's also a former airman. He used to be in the Air Force. He lived in Nevada for a while. She moved out with him, moved out to Nevada to be with him, and now they're out here in New England in Massachusetts. State of Nevada is your answer for today. So, as I said, next week is the last full week of Black Friday, and then after that, Wild Card Week. For Wild Card Week, you have one day to give me your answer for the clue you are given for that day. Not like Black Friday where you have the entire week. You only have one day. But we have 2 more weeks before we reach that point. So for next week, as I said, you'll find out when we get there. But it's a lot of, I would say a lot of researching, but it's going to be not as simple for all of the clues you get. It's the last week, so make a break it time for a lot of you here. Kidding. So Nevada, one more time is your answer for today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for participating. If you want to know more and you want to have notifications of Black Friday, just hit the subscribe button on the video and you'll be notified each time a video is posted on my YouTube channel. Continue to be respectful. Continue to be responsible. Continue to do your hard work. We're down to the last few weeks of the school year. We're almost there, and the next thing you know, we're in summer. So, if I don't see you for the rest of the day, have a good day. Have a good weekend. And we will see each other again Monday morning. Ta-ta.